Welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and we've spent the last week checking out the responses to our definitive ranking of the Legend of Zelda series. There was sort of a lot of response to people who aren't as keen on like 2D Zelda games. It almost was like, why are they still doing 2D games when they could be doing 3D games?
Yeah, I believe one commenter said they referred to Oracle of Ages seasons, I don't even know if they mentioned Minish Cap, as almost overstaying their welcome. It was like the last leg of what 2D video games were.
Yeah, well, like, why do that when we're exploring this new 3D world of Zelda?
There is, I think, a bit of a, amongst core Zelda fans, people think of the console 3D experiences as these
Definitive Zelda experiences.
Some people have that view.
Yeah.
I'd say a majority of Zelda fans have that view. Like, when they think of Breath of the Wild, they think, oh, this was the last Zelda game since Skyward Sword. Like, oh, yeah, there was that A Link Between Worlds game that came out, but, oh, that was secondary.
Or there was this huge gap with Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks not being there.
Like, yeah, what are those? It went Ocarina, Majora, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild. And everything else was kind of like...
I think I do that sometimes, too.
I think a lot of people
I
do.
admittedly get a little bit more hyped about a new 3D game.
I feel that there was this era between the late 90s to the mid-aughts that people had that view, that 2D was sort of on its way out. The technology of the N64 and especially the GameCube, PS2, that era, every single major classic franchise was sort of transitioning into the third dimension. And that was the big new thing, and everybody was excited, and you know, and games like Oracle of Ages that came out in 2001, it was like, well, we want 3D games. But then I feel in the last, maybe 10 years, 12 years, the pendulum has definitely shifted back. Especially when I look back at the Nintendo Wii era. Not just for Zelda, but for games like Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
There was new Super Mario Brothers came out on the DS and then later the Wii, and that's one of the highest selling video games ever. With Mario in particular, people think, oh, what's the last major Mario game?
Yeah.
At that time, they're like, oh, it went from Sunshine to Galaxy, and then to Galaxy 2, and then when's the next one going to be? But then you're forgetting there's this other game that came out, and like I said, it performed way better than any of the other ones in terms of the amount of people that acquired it, purchased it. I think a lot of that has to do with accessibility. People like the more simplistic gameplay in some cases. Games like Phantom Hourglass came out in that same era. Now that's not a traditional 2D Zelda by any means, but that also performed very well. You know, A Link Between Worlds came out. I think that was a bit of a shocker when that game got announced. Like, we just had seen Ocarina of Time 3D, so it's like even people who felt the 3DS was like the place for handheld Zelda or console Zelda or 2D Zelda, that shifted with Ocarina. They're like, oh, maybe we can get another Ocarina of Time style game on the 3DS. And then they hit us with A Link Between Worlds, and it looked and felt and played like A Link to the Past. And it's like, wow, they're still doing this. 2017 Breath of the Wild came out. It's not going to be another 6 years until a console Zelda game comes out. There's going to be some in-between games in there, and I don't know what those are going to be. And we've sort of talked about, should they go back to their roots with 2D Zelda? I don't even know if it's like an A Link Between Worlds game. Is that an A Link to the Past or Oracle of Ages style game?
We've heard like the Link's Awakening rumors, you know?
I feel that Nintendo could release any one of like 6 different types of Zelda games at this point. I don't think they're like stuck in a corner where they have to do anything.
Yeah, Zelda can be almost anything, and I don't think one experience is like inherently better. That can be in many mediums. It can be 2D, it can be 3D, it can be non-linear. Like 2D isn't inherently worse.
In the last 10 years, with the rise of like indie games, indie developers coming out with like games being made by 1, 2, or 3 people only. A lot of them tend to be 2D games, but some of those are some of the best games that have released in the last 10, 15 years.
Right, exactly, yeah.
There's, no reason Zelda can't continue that trend, and I think they will. I really do. I don't want the Zelda series to go into more of a, this is the only style of game we make now. I want to see another traditional top-down game.
I want to see all of it. I mean, I've said this is a while back, but in our Dream remake video, I was saying they should remake Zelda 2 or a sequel to it, you know? To me, that is just as great of an experience. This is a weird analogy, but I think people sort of view it as like, we used to have silent films. Then they found out how to not have silent films, and you don't see a whole lot of those anymore. I think people see that as kind of, some people like, why make 2D when we can make 3D?
Just the generic term 2D does not necessarily mean it's outdated. What's that game on the Switch that you've been playing?
Stardew Valley?
Yeah, like to me, a game that looks like that and plays like that.
The art is beautiful too. It's like perfect.
Yeah. Does that look like a game? Could that have been made on the Super Nintendo? I don't know if that could have been made on the Super Nintendo. I don't think so.
Games like that and like Shovel Knight look like how you remember a lot of those games being, but better. They updated it a little bit.
I think that's the type of game
exactly
we can still see.
Yeah.
I think A Link Between Worlds fits that category as well.
I would like to see some more of the like pixels come back as opposed to these 3D models.
Stardew Valley was that a that's a sprite-based game, right?
Yeah, and Shovel Knight too. So like I would like to see that with updated pixel art that looks really good. Going back to the weird analogy I made, I think it's more of like, we have films and we have television, and they both have different goals. One's like a smaller experience than the other, but they both serve great purposes in like entertainment, you know?
And I also actually don't think that just because a game is a sprite-based game or a 2D game, it necessarily needs to be short and quick.
Oh yeah.
As well. I mean, there's no reason why you can't have a very complex, advanced 2D based dungeon or something that you have, you know,
especially now with the developments and, you know, in gameplay mechanics and 2D gameplay mechanics.
So yeah, 2D Zelda,
it's good.
It's still a modern thing.
We want more.
Yeah.
We want more 2D Zelda. I want more side-scrolling Zelda.
Pixel Zelda.
Pixel Zelda. How about
Sprite Zelda?
How about the DS Zelda style?
Yeah, it's more the like 3D model in a 2D plane.
But I mean, like, they should do another game with those kind of controls.
I don't think they will.
But they should. Maybe that'd be on mobile.
I don't think they should. No.
No, they should.
No, I don't think so.
What do you guys think? Should they make more DS Zeldas?
That's what we got out of this.
Yeah.
That's
no, 2D versus 3D. Where do you stand? Do you get hyped about 2D games? Like we want more love for them. You know, we're not biased. We just want to see more. They need more respect than they get. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Check out all our other stuff. Maybe our definitive ranking. We're still hyped on that. And thanks for watching.